Hello and welcome to a documentary of my hoyagrowtent. That alone should tell you that this video is not going to be short. There are quite a few Hoyas in the tent and we have some things to talk about. So, grab some drinks, popcorn, make sure that the toilet is ready, that no one is occupying it, so you can hit the pause, go, and come back quickly. We will wait. So I finally got my second grow tent. And I mentioned this several times in my previous video that my second grow tent will be for Hoyas. And after putting some Hoyas in there, I am kind of thinking, do I need aeroids? I don't know. I'm thinking it would be very nice to have two grow tents with Hoyas. I did record a video of me setting up the grow tent and, putting things in the grow tent, but I have to tell you, this video has been plagued with misfortune. The accent is also one of those things. I was setting up the tent, I forgot my camera is on manual focus, so obviously everything was out of focus. So I thought it would be a good idea to then just record me putting some plants in the tent and, talking about them as I put them in the tent. Well, it's the morning after and I do have some regrets. Actually, it's kind of more like the middle of the day, but, it was a good place to insert a joke. The tent is 2 meters high and so am I, maybe -4 centimeters. And when you put the light in the tent, you can adjust the height, but that's like 180, 185 centimeters. And that's just not enough space for me to go under the light and comfortably put Hoyas in. I mean, I can obviously put them in, but that footage looks very similar to the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So if you're interested in watching that footage, I think you should go and watch the movie or the cartoon. It's pretty much the same experience. So I decided not to impose all of those awkward angles on you, well, except for this one. And I decided this morning to do a Hoya tour and show you all the plants that I have in the tent. So you will see them one by one and we will talk about the system, quote unquote, that I use for hanging the plants. Before we start the tour, I would like to give you some information on how I will grow the plants in the tent. First of all, now I have 2 tents in my room and I have, I think, total of 5 Mars hydrolights, and they are all dimmed to, different levels, except for the 2 up above. They are 100 watt lights, non-dimmable, but it's just a lot and the summer is coming, meaning that the air conditioning, which I finally have in my room, will be working, because without it, it gets way over 30 degrees and you don't want to do anything when it's way over 30 degrees. So I decided to set the timers for my tent to turn the lights on at 8 p.m. and to turn the lights off at 10 a.m. That way, I don't have the lights running at the same time. There is a short period there where, they interlap because I run them for 14 hours. So there is that 2-hour period where all of them are running. But, I think for the most part, this will just make a big difference, not in the electricity cost, but maybe just the load of the electrical network. Because, this is not a new house, and with that, the installations are new, and it would be very, very nice if we would not set ourselves on fire growing Hoyas. That's all one collector can wish for, isn't it? Another benefit of that is the summer is coming and it will be very hot. It is May now and we already had 33, 34 degrees of Celsius, and if we're gonna go by last year, we had temperatures near 40. So if I have all of these lights running, I will really have to crank on my air conditioning to cool this place down. So I don't want to do that. Instead, because the plants are in the tent and the tent is closed, so no light is leaking through during the day from out to in, and also during the night from in to out, so I can actually sleep, I decided it would be best for me to have those tents turn the light on at night. So that way I think, the room will not heat up as much during the day. And then if I need to cool the tents down, I can open them maybe during the day, and I will have to turn my air conditioning. It's inevitable, really. So maybe that way they can cool down a bit, and then during the night, they will not get so hot, hopefully, because also the night is cooler. So, you know, I think you understand what I'm going for here, because I am honestly just lost in my explanation, so please help me out. I will keep you updated on how those Hoyas will grow. I decided to put 2 more Hoyas that you didn't see in the video, my Hoya Bellas, Hoya Bella PES03 and Hoya Bella Albo Marginated. So those are here in the Millsville cabinet. They will also go in the tent in some lower light area. And also, I think, you know, with time, I will take some of the plants out, put them on this wall here. I will make a similar setup, and, you know, we will put some new Hoyas in the tent. I think I do have some Hoyas now that absolutely will need higher humidity constantly. So I think, you know, I will have to sit down with my collection and really think what absolutely has to be in the tent and what doesn't. So anyways, after that, a very long intro, I think it is time for me to show you the grow tent and the Hoyas. This is what the tent looks like from the outside, and it is just next to my other tent. And I think we can all agree that it definitely will need more Hoyas, but I am working on that. Queued to about 20 plus Hoyas here that are new and are propagating in the boxes. We will talk about you in the future. The light that I have in the tent is identical to the one that I have in the other tent. It is Mars Hydro FC3000. It is 300 watt light, and I have it dimmed to about 25% for now. We will see if we can go for more or if we will need to dim it even more. So the general idea of the tent was to utilize the space as much as possible, as you can see, because we want to stuff it with Hoyas on the walls, on the shelves. I want one day when all these Hoyas grow, I want when I open this tent that it looks like as if I'm walking into Southeast Asia, and I think we will achieve that look. Just give us some time. Obviously, some Hoyas need to go on the bottom of the tent, on that shelf, and also here. I think I will install a couple of more LED lights just to make sure that the bottom levels have enough light, but the majority of Hoyas will go on the top shelves and on the walls. These Hoyas are not going to stay in the tent permanently. I will take them out eventually. It will depend as I get new Hoyas, which of them will need the higher humidity. Not all of these necessarily need to be in the tent, but I wanted to make the best use of it right now. I definitely think some of these can go outside of the tent, and I do have a plan where to put them, but again, as I said, since I have the tent, I did not work on that part of my setup. I do have to say that this is my favorite part, this side right here, and then that corner as well. And I have to admit, as we kind of turn and go to this other side of the tent, this is where things get maybe less favorite for me. I don't think it turned out as good, but again, this is just the first setup, and if you know me, you know that I will probably go through 5 different iterations of the setup until I'm completely happy with how things look. On the back of the tent, on these walls, I do have rabbit fence. I did the same thing in my aeroid tent, and I found it to be very useful. I did have to modify my pots, which I will show you how to do, just in case you want to try some similar setup. And it's very easy actually to modify them. Well, this one doesn't count. You just wrap the wire around for that one. But I'm particularly talking about these hangers here, though I think even if I didn't show you, you would probably figure out how to do that yourself. When it comes to the rabbit fence, it is zip tied to the sides of the tent and to the top. So obviously the tent has 4 bars. We have 1 bar on the top, 1 on the bottom that you probably cannot see right now because of all the plants, and also because of the tray, but if I move this, there is another bar right here. I don't even need to explain you know how basic framework works. And then there are 2 more bars here. And I used probably I would say 5 or 6 zip ties per side. So it is really secure in there. This is not going anywhere, and the zip ties are quite thick. So it's definitely staying safe here. I think maybe if the Hoyas grow to be exceptionally large, then we will need to figure something out. But I think in any case, if that happens, we will have to figure something out. So I'm just going to take you through the tent so you can see what plants I have here. Now, they all need to be watered, so if something looks dehydrated, it's because, well, it needs to be watered, basically. Now, let's take a look. Here we have Hoya Aliona. This one was in my Millsbo cabinet, and she did not have a lot of space to grow there, so I decided to put her in the tent. It's a lovely looking Hoya. I did cut her back several times because there was a moment when I didn't like her, and, you know, I was cutting her back and trading cuttings, but, you know, I think now I'm in a place where I like her and she likes me, so I think I should just let her grow out. Here I have Hoya Jennifer. She was also in my previous tent, and I have to say this is the biggest that the buds have gotten. I think I have been underwatering her. She just needs a lot more water than I ever imagined Hoya Jennifer would need. And she's quite a big plant. You can see all of that is Hoya Jennifer, and she's branching out. This is the vine from Hoya Jennifer, and I do have one more going in the back, but I hope that she blooms very soon. I'm looking forward to that, Jennifer. This Hoya here is, I think, Hoya subcalva, and she is doing well. She's not the fastest grower. Sometimes she gives us strange leaves, but they're very interesting once they start to grow. Right next to it, I have one of my, I would say, my favorite Hoyas, and God help me, I'll probably drop that now. This is Hoya Siamika that I got from Hoya Passion, and those leaves, excuse me, lovely, beautiful. I don't know why that's filthy, that's not so beautiful, but like you can see that veining, it's just very, very, very gorgeous Hoya. This next one is a Hoya I got from one of you, from Julie Kennedy from UK. So thank you, Julie. She is gorgeous, and she's putting out a new leaf. This vine did die back in the transit, but that's fine. She is growing here a new leaf, and she will branch out there. This is Joyfusiana, subspecies Angulata. And I'm very, very, very happy to have her because she gets gorgeous. I do have my Hoya calistophylla here. She does not love me. I do not love her. But I think we're finally growing. The thing is, when I got her, she did not have the best root system, and it took her a long, long, long time to actually grow decent roots. Now, this is Hoya species Tangamus, and this leaf down here is very interesting. That's the original leaf. These are the leaves that grew for me, and I have to share this plant with 3 friends. I think it's time for me to cut it, which I will be very, very, very sad to do. But, you know, it's not fully mine, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Here, this is Hoya, again from Hoya Passion. This is Hoya Penny Street. There is a session number, but I honestly forgot it. So I will just write it in the screen. This is sister plant to Silver Dollar, and I think she is looking gorgeous. She has not been growing in the tent, so this leaf is not very red, but Penny Street is known for having lovely, lovely red new leaves as it grows. So I think we will see that with the new growth. Now, this plant in the back here, first of all, she has gorgeous leaves. I absolutely love those leaves. They are super, super shiny. Beautiful to look at. And I got this Hoya from Sweden, from Asa, and it is Hoya species UT033. Gorgeous Hoya that makes a lovely green flower. Now, this Hoya in the back, she grew actually quite a lot for me. This is a Hoya that does not belong to me. only a cutting belongs to me. And I basically recovered that Hoya for my friend. I don't know if we can see her. One leaf did get damaged because, you know, me. And that is Hoya species PNG SV432. The leaves should also get beautiful sun stressing. I do have to make an attempt to walk into the tent and not get burned by the light. So, if you hear me screaming, I'm burning. This is Hoya species affinity Valenyana UT152. She was just recently in bloom. A gorgeous Hoya. I hope she branches out here a bit more. I have here Hoya affinity Lambi that is also about to bloom for the second time. I will insert some photos of the flower. It's a gorgeous Hoya. Beautiful leaves and beautiful flowers. Here in the back we have Hoya AH074. I do think maybe I will need to move her to some higher light position to see if we can maintain or get more of that silver. She's doing well. She has stopped a bit with the growth since I repotted her, but I think we are restarting that growth. This is my variegated Hoya subquintupla nervous, looking very nice with those two new leaves. My nemesis, Hoya onychoides, that I had a big plant, but it kept growing a vine with no leaves. The baby leaves would constantly fall off, so I just decided to chop it, and I had it with you, onychoides, I had it with you. This is Hoya Nathalie. I had it with you as well. I don't know why Hoya Nathalie doesn't want to grow well for me. The leaves keep dying back. They keep yellowing and falling off for no reason. So I got another cutting of Hoya Nathalie to see if, I don't know, maybe something's wrong with this one. This Hoya here, oh my gosh, I'm hitting the light. This is another Hoya from Julie Kennedy, and this is Hoya Trebiana. Very lovely, meaty leaves, very big. Here in the lower light, I do have my Hoya Li from China. And beautiful, beautiful Hoya hanging here. This is Hoya Ruthier. She was in a trellis, but, you know, I think she's gonna look nicer this way. She has very, very nice leaves. If you don't have Hoya Ruthier, please get it, because the way that these leaves feel is absolutely amazing. This is my Hoya Nicole Sonja that decided she wants to grow. She was not the good girl all these couple of years, but now she decided she wants to join us. This is Hoya that I also got from Hungary that also needs to be watered. That's very underwatered. This is Hoya latifolia, but the one that I sell as Hoya species Sarawak. It also recently bloomed with many, many, many flowers. Here we have my Hoya shepherdi, which I don't know if we will focus. I cannot, I'm holding camera with one hand, so I cannot tap to focus because I'm trying to show you. Maybe I can tap to focus with my nose. There is a peduncle there with some buds on it. So, lovely Hoya shepherdi. This is a Hoya that I got from also one of you, from Peter from Germany. So thank you so much, Peter. She is absolutely stunning. This is Hoya species Reindeer Rafflesia, and until Peter contacted me, I did not know this Hoya existed. So I'm glad I do know, because she is absolutely divine. This is Hoya Siguilatis here that she took a long time to recover from root mealybugs, I'm going to be completely honest. We're just now starting to love life again. Now, Hoya compacta, inner variegated with those buds growing. I cannot wait to see her bloom. This is the one they call Mauna Loa. And this Hoya here was also on a trellis. She's actually quite long. She goes all the way to the bottom. That is Hoya patella pink, and I liked her on a trellis, but I have to tell you, I saw this photo of Hoya patella that was grown as a hanging plant of Hoya patella pink, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. It's by Carol Knoll, and I think she looked lovely, so I want to grow it as a hanging plant as well. We have my Hoya imbricata there. We're not going to talk about Hoya imbricata. She can, for all I care, just disappear from the tent. My Hoya honey purple or pink. We'll see if this is low enough light for her. Hopefully it is. I did cut off the vine where I had all the burnt leaves. And I have my Hoya archibaldiana. I'm also terrible at growing Hoya archibaldiana. Don't know why, but we will see if in the tent with higher humidity we will get more leaves out of it. Hoya that is constantly in bloom. Lovely Hoya burmanica, and by the way, I think that's a super cute spot for her here in the corner. And right above her we have Hoya Siguilatis NS07039. This Hoya was left with one leaf on the vine. It took me a very long time to notice she has mites, and boy, I thought I was gonna lose it for sure, but she's okay. Now this one in the back, I actually forgot what this is. Hoya excavata, okay? So that one rooted. I think I was actually potting this in video recently. I was rooting it in pon. Oh, my Hoya Siguilatis, I moved her from my Millsbow. You can see that she got quite a lot of light in Millsbow cabinet, but my gosh, how I love Hoya Siguilatis. It is weird looking, which I absolutely adore. I think I sent a message to Betsy showing you Hoya Siguilatis, and I said, look how lovely and lush this is, because when I got it, it had only a couple of leaves, and she was like, are you joking me? Lush? Do you know lush? But I think this is lush for a single vine of Hoya Siguilatis. Now I have Hoya Grey Ghost here. I think when I got it, a lot of people were saying that it doesn't look very great at all, but you know, she just needed some love and care, and we are looking quite gray. I took several cuttings from it to give to some people, and I will take all of this to give to my friend in Sweden. And she does have a peduncle here as well. Okay, I had to get out of the tent because it was getting a bit too hot, and I'm very tall. I am 196, and this light is probably on 185, so I have to be, you know, bent a bit, and honestly my back started to hurt as well from being in this unnatural cramped space. Well, no, position, I guess. I was in a very weird position, kind of like Nosferatu, but the original from 1920s. Awful. Anyways, let's go back in the tent. So in the back corner, what we have here is Hoya species NS240. Kind of reminds me of more rounded Hoya species affinity, Burtoniae. We do have a couple of yellow leaves there. This next one is Hoya latifolia, and it does have a session number which I will write. I also got it from Hoya Passion. In the photos it looked a bit different, so I thought it was interesting, but I guess now it looks like regular latifolia. Now this one is Hoya species GPS 7240. Very lovely, very nice sun stressing, but growth pattern is not like, this is kind of growing, and the vines are very stiff. I actually expected this to make a beautiful hanging plant, but she's quite stubborn. This is quite a stiff vine that just wants to go that way, doesn't want to naturally fall down. But the leaves are cute, so I love that. Here we have Hoya Methyled Splash. This is also from Hoya Passion, and it's not very splashy, but I hope she becomes more splashy in higher light. And this is also hanging. I did make a video about this stand, but I did not edit it, about me setting it up. I don't think it looks the best, but this is, as you can see, hanging there, and I just secured the trellis here with this wire that's very easy to take off. And that is Hoya verticillata, or we think it's verticillata, Hoya species from Loei province. You can see a bit more of those leaves. Not this one, you do not belong to the story, but these gorgeous splashy leaves. This is Hoya Malefla, or I got it as Hoya Malefla. Very nice. Kind of surprising because, you know, Penny Street is a seedling that comes from Hoya Malefla. So far I don't see any resemblance, but who knows, maybe in the future I will. This is Hoya Scortechini, and this used to be called species SR 2008-022, but then they discovered, you know, it's Hoya Scortechini. And whenever you have a Hoya that is not identified, for example, you know, this was SPSR 2008-022 or 022, 22. That makes me think of ballet. Anyways, to get back on the story here, and when they discover what species it is, make sure to keep that accession number. So I don't need SP there. It should be just Hoya Scortechini SR 2008-022. So I said it again, 022. So we can keep track of different clones. But also another gorgeous Hoya. I think, to me, this reminds me of Stars at Night. In new leaves, when they come in, they're super dark, but this splash is still visible. It is very, very gorgeous when new leaves come in. I quite love that plant. It's one of my favorites. Just a random Hoya Carey. We're not going to talk about her. You know how I feel about Hoya Carey. My Hoya species Affinity Bertonia inner variegated has made these gorgeous new leaves. Look at that. Absolutely adorable. I love you. It's unnatural. We still have this elbow vine, so I think it's time to probably cut her back. We'll see. Maybe we can get some more green, but I think we have to cut her back quite a lot, all the way to there. That brings me to a plant that is, you know, now starting to become a plant that I like very much. It is Hoya Valenyana inner variegated. And, you know, this other section is also starting to look nice. I did have issue with some of the leaves not looking as pretty, so I maybe, you know, maybe I shaded this plant too much. We will see. I quite like this growth. This vine here is quite lovely. So if we can get more like that, then I think you will be one of my favorite inner variegated Hoyas. We have my Hoya Nicole here that I got as Affinity Truniana, but it's Nicole. I did keep the accession number PNG6, but that accession number is, I think someone assigned it to this Hoya. I don't think it really belongs to this clone, but she's about to bloom. And did I break that? Not yet. I have my Hoya New Guinea Ghost. She has fulled out nicely. We did lose a couple of leaves in the tent. I think, you know, I underwatered her, and I think she needs water now, but she's looking beautiful. And we have Hoya here that, you know, it's not the fastest. Hoya puvoensis, she bloomed here, and she's gonna bloom there, and we finally have a new vine going. So I might actually even put her on the wall somewhere. In the back I have my Hoya Flagolata. I was gonna retrellis that, but you know. And this gorgeous Hoya, Hoya Rinsi from Borneo. Absolutely lovely. She also lost a couple of leaves in the tent. They just, you know, turned yellow and fell off. She's definitely not overwatered, but I do think, you know, maybe it was not enough circulation, air movement, who knows. We'll see how she does in the tent. I do hope she grows more because I absolutely love you. I think that leaf is amazing. This Hoya here recently bloomed and I just repotted it now. This is Hoya pubicorolla 1011. Beautiful dark flowers. I will try to make a video on her soon. And in the back we have Hoya peninsularis with yellow center. Gorgeous new leaf. A lot of a lot of cumulus there. I don't know. I suspected she might have mites, but I'm not sure. We'll see. She does not look her best now. She kind of looks ugly, but maybe it will be sorted out now. And this is one of my favorite Hoyas. I have to tell you, I did not know this Hoya is so beautiful in person. Otherwise, I would have gotten it years ago. This is Hoya Hypalasia. Beautiful leaf. Absolutely beautiful. I got this once again from Julie Kennedy. Julie, thank you so much. This is gorgeous, gorgeous plant. And I hear she's difficult to bloom, so I hope that under the higher light, which seems to be the trick as I hear, and the light went off, I hope that under this higher light she can bloom. It's DIY time! So you saw the tent, you saw the Hoyas. I hope that you enjoyed that. We only have one more thing to do. I want to show you how to make those pots. So my pots, you cannot really hang them on the side of the tent. I did DIY my pots for those IKEA pegboards using the IKEA clips. And I'm going to show you one of those pots. Give me a moment. A lot of people have also asked me about this. So these are the Scotty's pegboard clips. You can buy them at IKEA and they cost, I think, close to €4 for two. That's a bit pricey in my opinion, but so is everything. And I did not want to use, because you saw how many Hoyas I have in the tent on the walls. I think probably 30, 35, I don't know. And it would be a lot of money to buy so many clips and to glue them. So I decided not to opt for this, but if you want to use them on the pegboard, I think that's fine, because typically you can only put 10, 12 on the pegboard. This is the system that I use, and I also put some very strong glue there, so you cannot really, you cannot unglue it anymore, which may or may not be good, and they're pretty secure. What I decided to do for the tent is take the same pots, which are not intended to be hung in any shape or form, and I used my soldering iron to make two holes, one next to each other. I hope we can see that on camera. And I used, this is I think 10 centimeter and 12 centimeter pot. I'm not gonna go above that size because I don't think it would be secure enough. I cannot really tell you how long this is. I could probably measure, but it's not going to be very useful for you. You will have to try it a couple of times. If you want to use something similar, you will have to see what works for your pots. So this is approximately the length that works for my pots. And what I do, I just take this and bend it, and hopefully equally, and I will just straighten the wire a bit. It's a very simple hanger. I do have to tell you, I did get it wrong a couple of times. I cannot tell you why. Probably wasn't using my head. So I just tighten it there at the end, and obviously this is not great precision. Sometimes they look a bit better, sometimes not as good. I just, make sure that that is straight enough. And again, this is not precise by any stretch of imagination. I just check how much do I have from those holes to the edge of the pot. And this is where I will bend with my pliers. So something like that. And then I will put that inside through those two holes like that. And I will bend it up. And I actually did this in reverse, so I would put it from this outer side, but that doesn't work because when you hang it, then whatever is in the pot will kind of put pressure on the wire and it will just come out of shape. So anyways, you get something like this, and the last thing that I do, I just put my finger here and bend it one more time. And voila. That is a very easy way to make these hanging pots. Yeah, it's a bit loose, but honestly, I think it's, there's no glue involved. And yes, your pots will have 2 holes, but who cares? And this is a great way to hang the Hoyas. And basically the same is for this other one, but I don't think we need to see it twice. I think people understand how it works. That is all for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Very soon I have to sort out my cabinets because they are looking empty-ish and crowded at the same time because, this section here in my cabinet is very crowded. So I have to rearrange some plants, and I do have flower buds that are done blooming all over the cabinets. And I think in the future I'll probably constantly confuse the word cabinet and the tent. I noticed when I was editing the video, because I edited the tent tour before recording this, that I said that, some of my plants didn't do so well in the tent. I meant the cabinet. And I think it's because it was just so crowded, because these plants grew so much and it became very, very crowded. Which, I expected because I put like 40 plants in there. It's an insane amount of plants, but I cannot imagine if I kept aeroids in there how it would work. And now I think it's looking much better, or it's going to look much better once I sort them out. They need watering. The plants in the tent need watering. I still didn't do that. Just everything needs to be watered. Why am I still talking? My plants are screaming. They're thirsty. Anyways, the point of all of that is to say stay tuned, because there is another Hoya video coming up, and I think several more. Honestly, I'm very behind with the videos. I know. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, you can do so down below. Sorry. You must. I did not mean to say you can do so. You have to do it. It's obligatory if you want to know more about Hoyas. Have a wonderful day. I will see you very soon, and clearly I will spend the rest of my day watering the plants. I mean, my Friday afternoons are wild. Bye! I would like to take some time to thank my patrons. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 2 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenhall, Anne Margaret Moen, Betsy Begonia, Bonnie Harris, Carrie Cynthia Taylor, Danube Daniels, Estelle Farah, Houseplant Heather, Hoya Heather, Jacques Plant Journey, Jessica Chio, Kelso, Kristen Sherwood, Mars B, Martina A Leaf Per Day, Melissa Walker, Nicole Ferranti, Nicole and Caleb of Schlieve Tropical, Speed J, Plans by Misha, Rachel Colette Conroy, Robin L. Jennings, Sherry Kumar, Stephanie H2O, Spinach Geek, Tanya, TJWO, Vicky Dingler, Wojtataka, Wendy Foreman, and Zlokov Niponi. Also, a big thank you to my $3 patrons: Angelina Farnan, Anne Margaret, Brana Phillips, Catherine G, Kilone, Claudia L, David Candia, Jerry's Garden, Lisa Helling, Morgan Kennedy, Morgana Divina, Nella, Nerdy Kathy, Plantolania, Ringlov, and Shayla Mason Casper. And a thank you to my $1 patrons: Brandon Pacheco, Caroline Carey, Erin Keenan, Lauren M, Marissa, Paula Plans, and Tang Watanasriya Cool. Thank you all so much for incredible support. I hope that you enjoyed the tour of my Hoya grow tent, and I really cannot wait for the moment when they fill out that space completely. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye!